Chris Whitten, the Executive Director of GAM. And Chris, it looks like a great start to 2025. What is the state of GAM this year?
Man, it's great to be with you, Roy, and it's always fun to talk golf. The GAM is big and busy, and we're very fortunate to get to do this work. And at least today, when we're talking, I look out the window and it's sunny and about 70 degrees. So I think we're all ready for golf season to officially be here.
Yeah, we sure are. I started my season off in Las Vegas about 6 weeks ago, and to be honest, unless you're playing on the TPC course or the Wynn course or whatever, I way prefer Michigan golf courses all day. I can tell you that right now. I thought I was going to be in for a treat out there. We are in for a treat as Michiganders. That is absolutely for sure. Well, GAM is a very dynamic and fluid organization, and you guys don't rest on your laurels. What initiative do you guys have coming out this year, or something that you've got going, or going to get going sometime during this next calendar year?
Yeah, GAM, just to kind of level set for your listeners, GAM's been around over 100 years.
Yep.
Started out as the Detroit District Golf Association, really just running elite level tournaments for amateurs. And now, fast forward 110 years or so, and we're an allied golf association of the USGA, helping to deliver their core services. So at the base, we conduct qualifying for USGA championships, and really for most of our members, we administer the World Handicap System and handicap indexes and the GEN mobile app. So I think the big headline this year is the growth of the association. We're hoping that by early summer, we officially go over the 100,000 member mark, reaching more and more people. Most of those are adult golfers, but we offer a great kids program called Youth on Course that allows kids to play for only $5 with their green fee. And I think that's a huge initiative. It takes a lot of work and a lot of fundraising, but really we're preparing not just the next group of tournament players. These are just going to be lifelong golfers. And that's good for everybody in the game. The courses, obviously folks who work in the game, but we're keeping it healthy in Michigan.
Yeah, and I like what you said on the $5 program. You know, obviously you can't offer golf for $5, but now you're introducing the young players. And if everybody plays in tournaments, who's going to watch these tournaments? Because those players will be doing it. You need fans out there that actually appreciate great golf and will turn into to any type of a broadcast.
Well, that's the audience. I mean, we're always going to do a great job at our elite tournaments. If you play in the Michigan Amateur Championship or the Michigan Women's Amateur, we want that to be the best event that you play all year as one of the best players in the state. But when you look at our membership, only about 5,000 of our members play in a competition. And the National Golf Foundation says that 75% of core golfers in the whole country ever play in any kind of competition, whether that's a league or something at their home club. So the majority of golfers are recreational golfers. And for a long time, I think those folks didn't really think that the GAM was for them. And we're here to say it definitely is. And if you look around, your friends are noticing that.
Yeah, you know, for a golfer that is just found out about GAM, they see that poster on the wall at their local golf course and they're like, a handicap? Really? I can do a handicap? And why should somebody join GAM? I mean, I'm sold. Sell us.
Right. I mean, you mentioned the number one reason that people ask about. It's the handicap index. And a lot of folks see that as their kind of official badge of being a golfer, whether that's at any level, tournament or not. But it allows you to track your scores, track your progress against yourself. And when you play with your friends on the weekend or with family, it allows you to set up a game before you get to the first tee that's fair and fun. So the GEN mobile app is way more than score posting now. It's stats, it's GPS, it's green reading. You can set up your game with your 3 or 4 groups right in the mobile app, ready to go, live scoring. So that's the number one reason. But beyond that, we do a bunch of member engagement opportunities. We call them GAM golf days. And these are social 1-day 18-hole rounds at courses you probably couldn't play if you just wanted to call up and make a tee time. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But it's a really well organized, easy day at an affordable price, and we're just getting members together to go have fun on the course together.
Mhm.
Beyond that, there's all kinds of discounts and travel opportunities too, but those are the main reasons, I think.
Yeah. Now, the game of golf got a resurgence during COVID 5 years ago. I don't want to talk about COVID a whole lot, but there's a few less courses now and a lot more players playing. What are course owners, PGA pros saying about the level of play, the amount of rounds that are being played right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that we live in a state with the most public golf courses of any state in the country. So, however crowded we think it is right now, I mean, if you go to literally any other state, they are more crowded than we are in Michigan. So we've got it pretty good. But I think for the owners and for the staff that work in the game, they see like this is our moment. All the years that we've sat in rooms and tried to think about how do we grow the game of golf. Well, it's happening right now. This is it. And so if we're not taking advantage of the momentum and keeping these golfers here who are trying it right now, we're kind of missing the boat a little bit. But you're right. For the regular golfer who just wants to make a tee time and go play, it's busy. And I think the good news is that's a good thing. I mean, there actually is more new course construction going on right now than any time in the last decade, that's for sure. But a lot of the courses are taking this revenue and they're reinvesting it back in the properties to do capital projects that they've maybe put off or are able to do now when they weren't able to before. And
Yeah,
that's good for golfers.
yeah, and that's huge. And when you're talking about getting the young players involved, and if a parent takes a child golfing, you'll never forget that ever. I mean, I still remember the times with my grandfather. And of course, being the son of Buddy Whitten, I imagine you've got stories. We probably do a different Zoom podcast on that one, definitely for sure. Um, One of the things I really love about GAM, we talked about not like 75% or 95% of the golfers that play never play in an organized tournament. Uh, but when you take a look at GAM, you guys run some of the best golf tournaments in the country for men and women, for the young and the older, for the competitive. Everybody's competitive if they're playing in a golf tournament. Some of them are very, very serious, but GAM runs them all. I mean, I get all your press. I run as much as I possibly can because people want to see their names in the paper and they want to read about their friends and all these great players and hopefully even come out to a tournament here and there. So it's kudos to you guys, and to running it must be a lot of work.
I give Ken Hartman, who's been the tournament director at the GAM for 25 years plus, a ton of credit. He's been doing this a long time, and it's his connections to these golf courses and our tournament players that make it all go. But he's got a lot of help. We're a volunteer organization. So when you do play in one of our tournaments and you see a friendly rules official, either the starter or somebody on a tough hole helping you with a ruling, those people are all volunteers. And they study the rules in the winter so that in the summer, this is how they can give back because they had some cool experience in golf, like you just talked about, some memory, and they want to give back in some way to make it better for somebody else, and that's why they're out there. So we're fortunate to be in this position to have a lot of courses that want to support what we do, a lot of great courses, and we have a lot of people who want to come enjoy these opportunities. It's fun.
No matter your age, your skill level, or where you play the game, I'd like to invite you to join the Golf Association of Michigan. For over a century, the GAM has provided amateur golfers just like you with an official USGA handicap, tournament competition, and a list of member benefits that stretches the length of a par 5. Membership in the GAM continues to be the best value in golf. For just $39, you join a community of nearly 60,000 other Michigan golfers, saving hundreds of dollars on green fees, equipment, and so much more. The GAM also cares deeply about the future of the game. That's why we established the GAM Foundation and are one of the nation's strongest partners in the Youth on Course program. Young golfers can now register for only $15 and then play for $5 or less. at over 70 courses in Michigan and 1,400 courses nationwide. Youth on Course has been a huge success in bringing the next generation away from their screens and onto the greens. So get your young golfer registered today. So now, whether you're 60 or 6, scratch, or a 26, the GAM invites you to celebrate the game with us. Visit us online today to join at gam.org.
Yeah. Now, as a former coach at the University of Michigan, and this is the tournament season, the women just had their Big Ten final, and we're going to find out about who's in for the teams in the next day or so, and the men are doing that this weekend. I talked to Nick Pumper, the Oakland University coach, and I imagine you've mentored a lot of players and coaches. What that must keep you stoked when you get those phone calls from people that go, Chris, you wouldn't believe this, or just to say hi.
Yeah, I do miss that world a little bit. And every day coming to work, there was a new score to shoot, and there was never a question about how you were doing at your job because there was a leaderboard to look at. And we've transferred some of that to like a small, one event result by result to now looking at golf across the whole state in a big way. But I do love the competition. I love Coach Pumford and Coach Jan at Michigan State, Coach Stacy and Casey at MSU. There are a lot of good people out there. And, beyond golf, I think they're just helping to develop really great young people who go on to,
Yeah,
just like we talked about before, to want to pass those experiences on to other people too. Golf
yeah.
is really cool that way.
I hate bringing up NIL, but after talking to a couple of the college coaches, they're some of them they're already at 8 or 9 golfers, and you're going to be capped at 9. And so one of the things Casey Luban said a few weeks ago on this very Zoom podcast, he says, we got a couple kids we'd love to have, but he says they're going to go play somewhere else, and all the schools are in the same boat. And is there any good on this? Is it bad, good? I mean, what do you see? What is your observation?
Right. I've got to plead ignorance a little bit. I mean, I left coaching before this was part of
Hmm.
the coach's decision-making process. So I know that it'll end up being a negative for some people and a positive for some others.
Sure.
And, one of the reasons we got to this point, I think, was um, a little bit of the change in the rules of the USGA and what defined amateur status, but it's more than golf. I mean, this is obviously a whole college athletics topic,
Sure.
and you read about football, basketball in the newspaper, but it trickles down to every single sport, and the golfers are athletes too. So in some ways, I don't envy the coaches for the new things they have to think about. But on the other hand, I think a student athlete would say it's an opportunity for them. And, I'm in favor of them having more autonomy and say in what they're able to do.
Yeah. Well, I know something you ran into when you were at Michigan. With all the athletic scholarships going to the men for basketball and football, they are revenue generating sports. A lot of people don't realize that most of the boys, the high school boys, only got 25, 40%. I guess some of them got a little bit more of a scholarship paid, where the women can get a full ride. And so I don't know. I believe I'm correct in that observation, but things are different. And like I have no begrudge. I didn't want to turn this conversation into NIL by any stretch of the imagination. I hope to maybe have a conversation. We get 3 or 4 coaches talking about, hey, these are the pros, these are the cons, these are what are happened, and have that conversation, and maybe have a couple student athletes. But I want to finish with a positive question with you. If you were going to win the GAM Grand Slam, and let's say you won one as a younger person, one as a middle-aged person, as an older person, is there a Mount Rushmore of GAM titles you can win, or is that just too much?
Well, there is. You're talking about spanning decades, but I'll go back and I'll actually use an example of one person. Kevin Vandenberg was elected to the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame last fall. And in the year 2020, Kevin won the Michigan Amateur Championship, which is a match play event.
Right.
same as the U.S. Amateur. He won the GAM Championship, which is a 3-round stroke play championship. And then he won the GAM Mid Amateur, which is a 2-round stroke play championship, all in the same year. And nobody's ever done that before. But I think you're right that, these junior championships have only been around for 35 years, I believe, whereas the Michigan Amateur is going to be in, I think it's 116th edition this
Yeah.
year. But now it's possible that you could win the state junior, the state amateur, the state mid amateur for 25 years old and up, the senior, and the super senior. So it's going to take a couple decades until somebody's had time to run through all of that. But it's possible you could do it on the boys, girls, men's, women's,
Hmm.
and you could even throw a net event in there if you wanted to, I suppose.
Yeah. You just actually you kind of circled back to a question asked in the very beginning because that I asked you, and it's that you have golf championships for men, women, and people of all ages, for the super competitive people that have tour dreams to those that are just want to be the best they can be. They have a job, they have a family, they're not going on tour, but they're very serious about their game. I'll tell you what, as we conclude today, Chris, is there anything I haven't asked you that you'd like to put out there in the next couple of minutes?
Man, I would just remember that we're very lucky as golfers in Michigan. It's a $6 billion industry in the state. And just like we want to travel to a warm place in the winter and play golf, well, people in Florida, Texas, and Georgia want to travel to Michigan in the summers. So enjoy it while you're out there. And if you haven't joined the GAM or read about us a little bit, I encourage you to do it. And it'll make your golfing experience better and make you a more educated and informed golfer for sure.
Chris Whitten, the executive director of GAM in Michigan, one of the best organizations in the entire country. We will definitely put up so that people can see the website. I have a lot of B-roll that we will include and some of the players and that kind of thing. In a different session, we'll talk about different things down the road. I know that this is your busy season, but with that, go blue, I guess.
Got it.
I'm a Sparty, but you know what? When we're golfers, we're all part of one big happy